Hello everyone, this is Rex Red, and I am back with another Daz Studio fun video with Polka. I'll turn that down a little bit so I can talk. Yes, we are back with Daz Studio. Oops, I guess this guy's got to have some... let's see, pants. Let's try that. The reason why I had the pants turned off is because he's been difficult to move around and all. So we're gonna... Okay, so let's turn this down. So we're gonna work on what I've got a few things that I've been thinking about doing lately with my channel. One of them is, okay, so just making sure that sword isn't going right, this thing isn't going through his leg. This is a Viking guy, so he's got a full set of armor here. And I'm not sure why that's not showing. None of this stuff is showing up here. Why isn't it showing up? Okay, let's go to, I think if I go to iRay, it'll show up. So we just got a new NVIDIA driver today. And so the new NVIDIA driver, no, it's not showing up. Where are his clothes? Okay. So let's go back to this. I think I have to click on them twice for to get everything back. The scale gloves. And the pants are... Okay, let's bring them back. He already has like skin tight leotards that are flesh colored, so you can't see anything anyway, so yeah. Alright, the bracers. Okay, they're the bracers. The armor boots, not sure why this stuff just isn't showing up right when it's supposed to. There's his helmet. Why does his helmet look like it's going right through his skull? Oh, because it's got this broad, this band around it, okay. And the scale armor top. All right, there's that. Scale armor shoulders are working. Okay, and then we're going to give him his hair, if we can get that to show up again. Okay, now when we put him in iRay, did we do iRay or not? 0. Let's see what we've got here for our Viking. So we're going to have a dragon's right here, okay? A dragon's head. Coming down, a very large dragon's head. And then we're going to have like the Alps or something in behind him. Some kind of mountains or fjord. Fjord is the proper way to pronounce it. So yes. See, so we got so I'm not sure if I like the way his hair is right now. I might just tuck it back and have it like blow back. I'm not sure yet. So I may end up messing with his hair. It looks just like it's a little too screwed up. And the reason why is because he has these shoulder pads on, okay? So I'm not sure what I'm doing right now with this. Okay, so let's go in and find a dragon. Dragon. Okay, we go to file, all files. Let's see what I got for dragons. Let's turn this off. Control Alt minus. Let's bring that up. Okay. These are poses. Okay, we have this dragon. Those are, what do we have for dragons? We're looking for, that's an attachment for this dragon. Materials. We have dragon flames, dragon wings, and dragon armor. Okay, these are shapes, dragon shapes. Looks like we're live. Yes, it does. Welcome, Angus. Welcome. And this is, we have Hector here. Say hi, Hector. Hi. Oh, that was nice, Hector. That was real nice. And Sigmund's going to say hi. Hi. Oh, that was really nice too, Sigmund. Yes. So here we go. So we are looking for dragons. They have to be part of. Okay, this is the the dragon we're looking for. So let's bring a dragon into this scene here. So, yeah, the hair is really bothering me. I wonder if it would just be much better to turn the hair off for now. I think the hair is going to go. It's just not working. We're going to find some other hair that works better. Better hair. Yep, we are. So let's see what we have here. I have to cut my hair. I have to cut it. Cut my hair. Oh, there's a Hellborn Dragon, all right. Okay, we're going to get rid of this hair because it might actually help me to kind of move stuff around here better. Better. Okay, so that looks better just with the hair gone. All right, let's now go to iRay here. I mean, go to, was it texture shaded mode? Okay. Hello, Hellborn Dragon. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, no, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. There we go. Let's see if I can move the Hellborn Dragon. X translate. Yeah, he's not giving me too much trouble. Y rotate. I may not even have to pose him that much. X translate. Just may have to bring him Y translate. X translate. Jaw. Open. Okay. And let's bring, let's translate him back a little more. And let's move our tire. He's the one that doesn't want to move. And I don't know whether if it's his clothes or what it's his beard. But something's hogging up all the... Bring him back a little more. Save. Now what if we... Okay. Now let's go to iRay, see what this looks like. Explore product, materials. Hello, I clicked iRay. I'm hoping that this new NVIDIA driver is good. That would be really good. Okay. Let's see what this looks. All right. So this isn't that good because he doesn't have an eye. All files. Materials. Let's see what happens when we use the materials on him. Let's select the Hellborn Dragon. What happens when we do this? Still no eye. And his teeth look terrible. Oh, maybe. All right, let's get rid of the Hellborn Dragon. Let's try this Hellborn Dragon. That one says actor. I'm not sure what actor mean, what the difference is exactly. This one, okay, doesn't look like it actually has any textures on him at all. I think I have other textures for him. So we're going to experiment with some other textures. We don't have any scene in here yet, so I figured I would get, I think I'm going to give him a shield as well around over his arm. Close his fingers a little bit. Those parts are going to be hard to do because he doesn't want to move at all. Anything I try to move on him is just like frozen. I'm not sure if it's because of his beard. Oh, he does have the boss beard. Beard boss. Okay. What did that just do to the Hellborn Dragon? Okay, let's go back to texture shaded mode. We're going to rotate him like this. Okay, we're going to bring him down, Y translate, X translate, and bring him over this way. Y rotate. X translate. Y translate. That's Z. Y translate. Okay, it looks like, no, when I bet when I go back to iRay, his eye is supposed to work, but it's not. And I have a feeling it's because it's, I think I know why. It's because he may have 3D light textures, and his eyes are supposed to actually radiate like some kind of light. And that part doesn't work. So let's see if we select him and go back to products, filter context, go to default, I'll go to materials. Here we've got, see, this is for the Dragon 3, okay? And so if we go into Dragon 3 textures, I don't see anything for eyes. So let's try this one. Daz Dragon 3. All files. Print geo through. Let's try this. All right, those work. So he's got eyes now. Base. Okay, so we have other. This is the crystal dragon. Materials. Those are for the crystals. This is it, the dragon crystals. I don't think I want him to have crystals. All right, let's save this. And let's mess with the background now. So what I do is we go over here. And okay, I'm going to find we're going to work on some grass first. So this is what's really nice whenever I think of using ultra scenery, having two graphics cards in SLI mode, two 3090 graphics cards in SLI mode is just like mind-boggling to me. So we go to all products, we go to ultra, and we turn this off, and then we go realistic landscape system, utilities, ultra scenery creator. Okay, I have to close this first, and I have to delete the camera. Okay, should I bring this out a little bit more, bring him over a little more, maybe twist it around a little more like this. Okay. And maybe now we'll move the camera like this. I don't know. All right. And we'll open his jaw a little bit. I'm not sure that I like his teeth. They just look a little bit too polished, but okay, let's save this. But I think the teeth, once I put like a sky around this and all and all of that, that it will work. Okay, so we're gonna delete the camera so I can put it back in. Where is the camera? Maybe I don't have a camera. No, I don't. So, okay, create new camera and perspective view so that it copies my view here. Okay. So now we have a camera. So when we go to ultra scenery, we can have the camera. Now features. We're going to have no features. Okay, ecology. Now this is something I didn't realize, that if you go up, there are this country Ford. And there's Britain. Okay, Britain. Let's go with Britain. Build. Okay, we're going to say camera, current view. Oh, we got to go back to scene and set this to 1. I don't want all these hills and stuff. Altitude to 1, set it to camera. Okay, build scene. Let's see what it does. So this is Britain is an update, an expansion to ultra scenery. It's a very nice expansion, actually. Like every expansion for ultra scenery is very nice. So yep. I have every expansion for ultra scenery that you can purchase. Every one and every any kind of the Ultra Scenery Accelerator is very nice. Ultra Scenery XT is very nice. All of these, any product that goes with Ultra Scenery, you have to have a fast computer to use it. So welcome, John. Welcome. Yes, with the Ultra Scenery does extremely well with the 3090s, with two 3090s and SLI. It does extremely well. I can actually render any scene without putting it into without using the camera view, but it's still like ungodly to try and manipulate it afterwards. So what I usually do with Ultra Scenery is I don't do what I'm doing now. I will render it with just the land, so that I can get kind of a layout of where the land, and maybe a few things like, so I'll know where the river is and things like that. So, but yeah, Ultra Scenery with one 3090, I would still occasionally create a scene with Ultra Scenery, and it would leave out some of the trees, and so that was something that happened quite a bit. But I don't have that problem anymore with. And sometimes I think the reason why Ultra Scenery leaves out, they're called, there's a different name for them. It's not, trees or whatever. It's sometimes, yes. And so if you do the land first, then you get the layout, you can get your camera view. And it's also another important thing with Ultra Scenery is if you plan to move, you can move Ultra Scenery. If you want to move it around, you can situate it so that your character is in the center of the scene. Your character is where you want it to be. But what's important is to just get the original coordinates of the land, so that if you need to go back, you can reset Ultra Scenery back to its original place. Then you can reopen Ultra Scenery and do some final edits and tweaks. So, yeah. Okay, so it says it's done, and I'm probably going to have so many trees in the way that I'm not going to be able to see the sky or anything. It says it's done. Okay, close. Yeah, see, this is what I mean. And now this is everything is in the camera view. So what I have to do is reopen Ultra Scenery. It's exactly what I said, and get rid of the trees, because I want a sky. I want a really, really nice HDRI in here. Welcome, Berlin. I'm going to move my monitor here so I can see it a little easier. I've got all kinds of obstacles. The monitor that I have that has my chat in it I am having some tea, and I'm going to move the tea so I don't end up with a cup of tea spilled all down me. And it's not that hot, so I didn't bring it to a very hard boil. So I'm going to move this monitor here so it's a little closer. Then I can read. So Berlin Ted, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you, John Angus, as always. I really appreciate you coming and checking out this tutorial. Let me know if you end up with a spinning circle, okay? Let me know if my video is having any kind of congestion, okay? So now this is not rendering. I don't know why. Now today, NVIDIA came out with a new driver, and I have been waiting for months. I almost check every day to see if they are coming out with a new driver. So, and today was the day. So I'm going to open Ultra Scenery back up again. And this time I'm going to turn off a few things. Good. Okay, good. Because I had somebody in one of my videos a couple of days ago and said that there was a lot of congestion. I think they might have been trying to watch the video through possibly a cellular connection. So we're going to get rid of the birch trees. That's one tip I would say is get rid of the trees. Okay, build scene. And if you get rid of the trees, then you can see a little bit more of the layout. And once you get rid of the trees, you may not even have to relegate it to the camera view. We are strictly decaf here. We don't do caffeine. Sigmund doesn't do caffeine either. Say hi, Sigmund. Hi! Yes. Sigmund loves watching 3D. 3070 Ti is sweet. I have, even with my 3090s like that, it almost looked like it was locked up there with the 3090s in SLI mode. Oh, I got spam caller. So yes, even with the 3090s. Okay, so we're building the scene. I can have little problems with it like that. That wasn't really a problem because what I could have done there, I was in iRay mode, so I could have just gone out of iRay mode, but the trees were in the way, and so that just became an instant problem. Now, the minute I bring Ultra Scenery, and sometimes I'm tempted to then take like the trees and ungroup them, I use a program called InstaEdit, and it works with Ultra Scenery. So you can take an instance, and there's also the Ultra Scenery toolkit that allows you to break apart instances and work. And that actually works better than InstaEdit, okay? Because you can regroup them again with it. It's very, very nice. But I find that if I only want a few trees in the background, I'll just get rid of the Ultra Scenery trees altogether and just use other trees that I have in my content library. And there's a tree designer program. I can't remember the name of that, but it's a great, you can design your own trees. Now, part of the problem here is I have my camera angled so low that I'm down to the grass. So I'm going to, and what really bothers me, okay, is that as soon as I go into texture shaded mode, I think all of my plants are going to disappear. So we're testing out the new NVIDIA. Okay, they did all disappear, and the ground is... See, all I really wanted was a little bit of ground here. Welcome, Ed. Welcome. Very good to have you here. Oh, my gosh. It's saying that I have one concurrent viewer. I don't know what happened. What happened to John or Berlin Ted? But welcome, welcome, welcome. Or Angus. So maybe it's just my concurrent viewers. It's not showing me. It's saying that I have two people here now. So, all right, I'm going to move this Ultra Scenery down. So I think I'm resigning myself to say, what I was going to say is that you don't really have to use the Ultra Scenery trees, because with Ultra Scenery, yes, you need to use the Ultra Scenery grass and all. Okay, very good. Thank you for hanging in, John. And so you don't have to use, you do need to use the ultra scenery grass, because it's either use the ultra scenery grass or use use ultra scatter. And the thing about ultra scatter is it's really difficult to get borders around water, and so ultra scenery, if I want a lake or a river or anything, or a sea coast or anything like that, I will definitely go with ultra scenery, because it creates the bank around the river and the river pebbles and all of that for me. And it's just, but I am like really good with, oh great, Angus. So it's just my concurrent viewers. It's not showing me, it's just not giving me a good reckoning of current viewers. So I'm just going to assume you're all here, okay? And great. It's awesome to have people here, especially it's new. Angus is like here for every single episode, and I mean for every single video, and he stays through the whole video. So Angus has hung out with me for like 12-hour projects. So Angus, but it's nice. Angus is just just a good friend of mine. So, but it's nice to have people who actually do use Daz. Yes, because add trees. And there's a really good tree generator. Okay, ultra trees. And these ultra trees, it's the ultra tree realistic system. You can pretty much create your own trees. They're very complex. But if you're only going to have, like in the background, if you're only going to have 4 or 5, 6 trees, maybe 10 trees, they're not hard to place yourself. Oh, we got a spammer in here. I got to get rid of the spammer. Not sure why they choose my thing, but we're going to close that out. How do I okay, hide user on the channel. Okay. So, yeah, so just leave out the trees, and it's not in every case. And the ultra scenery trees are really, really nice, and they meld so well into the. Now let's see, into the landscape. So I hate to say that, but the thing is that ungrouping them is just a huge job, so that you can have like 4 or 5 trees, in the scene. It's just best to leave them right out. So I would say my number one go-to tree is this ultra tree. But then I've bought like scenes that have just like that, 1 or 2 trees, but they're so detailed. So it's just whatever tree you're looking for, you can add to the scene. Okay, so my iRay is trying to kick in now. Let's see what this looks like. This is part of the Britain set. Oh, this is really nice. I think I've got to bring the ground down a little more. So it's down more. Okay, so let's go back into... Okay, I can't tell what I'm doing here, but if we just bring this all down a little bit more like that. Now let's go back into iRay. And it's, as you can see now, when I click on ultra scenery, you see all I've done to change it is lower the Y coordinate. But if I want to go back and rechange ultra scenery, then I would have to bring that back to 0. Then I could go and change that, reopen it in ultra scenery, make my changes, and then go back to 41.43 in the Y translate. So Oh yeah, 1080s 1080s do work. You can use ultra scenery with 1080s. I have two 1080s. Well, actually I had three 1080s at one point. But even with just one 1080, you can use ultra scenery. You just have to use all kinds of tricks to get it to work. The biggest trick is rendering it to camera view. The second biggest trick, and you have to make sure with ultra scenery, okay, see, this looks fine now. I would say maybe if I angle the dragon's head, just bring the dragon's head up a little bit. Okay. So yeah, you can use ultra scenery with a 1080. Okay, I can guarantee you that you can use it. You just have to use all kinds of tricks to use it, and the biggest trick is the camera view, and the second another trick is leave the trees out. Okay, that's a big trick, because you would just easily be, by using the camera, relegating it to populating only with the camera. And the other big trick is just when you want to situate the land and get it to the right, get your character in the right place and all of that, then just don't have it populate anything. And also, once you get the scene, get it into your scene, you can turn things off here. You can go in and turn the graft stuffs and the nettles off, and then you can work with your scene, and then right before you go to render it, you turn them back on. In fact, I turn off once I get ultra scenery where I want it, I turn it off, and I just hold the control key and click, and that turns the whole scene off, and it takes it out of the memory, so it works very, very well. And I'm not sure why I'm not getting the control key isn't turning things back on like it normally does. So, oh, maybe I used the ultra scenery terrain. That was what I did. Okay, so you go to this ultra scene up here and hold the shift key, hold the control key, and it turns everything off, the whole ultra scenery, and then you can move and do things like you normally do, which is a good idea. Now I'm going to just move the dragon up a little bit like that. Okay, that is probably going to get his chin out of the... So we're going to now open File Explorer, go to Desktop, and I'm going to go to HDRI All. Now I'm going to tell you guys, this is, and gals, I'm going to tell you about... Thank you, Ed. Yes, I would highly recommend purchasing all of, even with a 1080, I would recommend purchasing all of the ultra scenery, and just you can use it. You can find a ways around it to use it in your scenes. And I did many scenes with ultra scenery with a 1080 Ti, with one 1080 Ti. Now, if this is my master HDRI folder. Okay. Now, what I did was I went into the Daz content folder, okay, which is located somewhere on your computer, and you type in you do a search in the Windows search, and you hold the shift key and you go star.hdr, okay? And what it will do is it will find every HDR file in your content library. And then you want to do also star.exr, okay? And you do a search for there. And what you do is once it finds all the HDR files, you can hold Control A and select them all, and if you have enough hard drive space, you copy them all into a folder on a drive that you have enough, and you copy all of your .hdr files you take and copy them out of your content folder. Mine is here. Let's see, I have a 4 terabyte. Okay, so I'll show you what it's like to do this. So you go to my Daz 3D library. Excuse me. And then you go star.hdr, okay? And you search through your whole content library, and it will find every HDR that you've purchased, okay? And because Daz Studio it like hides half of your HDRs, okay? It more than half. It only shows me about maybe 10% of all the HDRs. Look at how many HDRs that I've purchased, and it's still going through them. I have purchased over 3,000 HDR files and HD and EXR files, over 3,000. And when I go through my smart content and my content, just the content, they're not there. They're just not there. And for some reason, because they're stored in this runtime folder, and Daz blocks that runtime folder from being accessed through, you can't just go into your runtime folder. So Daz blocks you from going into the runtime folder through your content library, through this content library here. There's no runtime folder here. Okay? And if you go here and add it, if you go here and right click and add a base library and add that runtime library, it doesn't matter where you add it. It will not, there won't be anything in it. Daz will not show that to you. Yes. So, yes, it is very cool. So what you do is you go and you find all of the HDR files, and then you find, and it gets cooler, John, okay? So you find all of your HDR files, and then you find all of your EX, and you copy them into a folder, and then you find all of your EXR files and you copy them into the same folder, okay? And then you're going to run into a problem, okay? And the problem is when you go to view them in the HDR file, none of them will show up. They'll all be blank. Like, notice the EXRs definitely don't show up. None of your EXR. And these ones that don't, of the HDR, none of your HDRs will show up either in Windows. Okay, so it's like, oh great, now I've got a folder full of HDR files and all of my EXR files, but none of them, there are no thumbnails. So what is this? So now if you double click on it, maybe it will probably open in Photoshop. But who wants to do that and click on these one by one? None of these will show up. So there is a program. Let me look and see if I can find the more options. There is a program called Open With. I forget what it's called, okay? But this is what you do. This is how you view these. Is you go to Google and you type into Google search, how do I view previews or thumbnails in Windows Explorer for HDRI files, HDR files, and there's a free app that you download and that allows you to view HDR files in Windows Explorer. But it only allows you to view them up to like 4K, maybe 4K. Notice this is 7K. So it allows you to go up to 7K. But anything like 16 or 24K or anything higher than that, and it won't let you see the HDR. See, that's an HDR. See where it says dimensions is 16K? All right, it won't let me view these, okay? And there's nothing that I know anywhere that will allow you to do that. So that's another problem. Then your EXR files, There is no way. EXR is an Apple like compression decodec. So there's an Apple has not allowed anybody to create a little Windows free little Windows app that you can install on Windows that allows you to view these files in your Internet Explorer. I mean, not Internet Explorer, through your Windows File Explorer. Okay, so you can't view them here. So that's two problems with it. And then the other problem is that they're so large that if you notice, I've had this open for a while. If I go down here, none of these, even the HDRs that are small, they're all sitting there. It takes forever for it to make the thumbnails just to view them. Yes. Yes. See, the problem with doing that is because if you view them online, then you have to upload them. It takes a moment. Then you view it, and it's just way too time consuming to use that. So now, but if you have them all, I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, so that so that you can view all of these files, okay, and view them immediately. And what you have to do is you have to open them in Photoshop or another program, and you have to batch convert them, okay, into a JPEG, into a small JPEG, even just. Yes. And so what you do, it is a pain. And that's the thing is, and just it's a pain to just try to view them. First of all, the EXR files don't view at all. But you can, if you double click on them, they'll open in Photoshop. So it's actually easier to just, I don't know if you have Photoshop, but it's easier to view. And there are some free Photoshop alternatives. So it's just starting to populate these, and every time you close this down, it doesn't save all these thumbnails like in some Windows registry file or whatever. It has to repaint them every time you reopen it again. So not every time, maybe when you restart your computer, it flushes them out of the temp folder or something. So these, and like I said, it only goes up to 8K. It won't show you anything above 8K. So what you do is you have Photoshop. It took me about maybe 2 or 3 hours for me to select all the, as it says, there's 3,554 EXRs. Yes. Okay. So if you have Photoshop, you can do this, John. So you select, I don't know, maybe you've already done this, but you select them all in this folder, and there's a way to do it. Let's see. I'll open Photoshop and see if I can find it. And what you do is you select them all, and you create a folder to put them in. Let's see if I can remember how to do it, because and it takes about 2 or 3 hours for if you have 3,000 items, okay? and it's I saw a video on YouTube where a very somebody I really respect a lot was talking about don't buy HDR files because you only use them maybe once in a project, and then you never use it again. But the thing is that these HDR files are gorgeous. They are utterly beautiful files, and sometimes you don't use an HDR for the background, you just use it for the lighting and all kinds of stuff. So I buy HDRs. I just wait until they're on sale. Yeah, I have. And I don't have them, there are people in the Daz forums that have twice as many HDRs as I do. So I'm not the biggest by far. And I love the people on the Daz forums. They are awesome. So what you do is you open Photoshop, okay, and then say you go here. Where is it now? Edit. No, I guess I have to open a new file. Okay, we'll go custom. All right, and now you go here to where is it now? File. Okay, script, and then it says script image processor, I think it is. Yes, image processor. Okay, this is it. Okay, so you go into the image processor and it says this is select the folder. Okay, and so if you click this, it will take you to, you go to your HDRI folder, the one that you put all you copy them. Do not move them out of your, that would be tempting to move them all out of your Daz, because saying, oh, I'll just use them. Don't move them out. Just copy them out and put them in a folder. Copy all your HDRs and copy all of your EXRs and put them in the same folder. And then you go into here, you go to that folder, HDRI all, HDR all, and you select the folder, okay? And you may have to move things out. I'm not sure. Oh, no, you don't have to. You just select the folder and say, okay. And then where it says include all subfolders, uncheck that. Okay, uncheck that, because you just want the files that are in the folder. You don't want it to look into folders and all. And then select where you want to put them. And then say save as a JPEG. Quality 5, they don't have to be high quality, okay? And now where does it say the JPEG size? I don't really know that it really matters that much about the JPEG size, but I think if save as JPEG, it doesn't, I don't see any way of resizing them, but I don't think it really matters that much. But I think if you resize to fit, then you can resize the image here, and I wouldn't go any higher than possibly like 2,000 pixels by I don't know that I would even resize it. I would just leave them. But I would go at quality 5, because all you want to do is be able to see them, okay? And then you click run, and it will take a couple of hours, or depending on how many you have, okay? And it will take all those EXRs and all of them, and every single one of them, and it will convert them all into JPEGs and put them in a folder. And it will give them a really cool name so that you know what they are, so that when you're all done, you have a folder here called HDRI new. And look how fast these files load. Boom. Look at that. See, and every HDR file, all the big gigantic ones, every one of them load. Excuse me again. And look how fast they load. I can just scroll down. I just scrolled down through 3,569 items. And what's nice, and then let's take a look at them at 5. Look at the quality here. This is amazing. And so what you do is you say, okay, this is where you can say, because sometimes you don't even, yes, it is, isn't it, John? It's really, and you say, well, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is never seeing that you even own these, because there's no way to access them in Daz Studio. So you buy all these and there's just no way to find them. That's one alternative. And you say, okay, so then also the other alternative is you find it in Daz Studio and you load it into your scene. And then how do you know that maybe somewhere on your hard drive in your content library that there's a 16K version of that. Daz isn't telling you and saying, oh, by the way, there's a 16K version of this if your sky is getting all grainy. But when you look at this, you can say, look at this, 4K. See, this is the same image that's, it says Kira 8K. Let's find a 16K. Look at this. This is Klufendal, and this is 24K. This wouldn't have even shown. Look at this. Now if I can view this picture, and then I go back to here, and what I do is I just take this and I copy it. You don't want to copy the JPEG part, just the name, because it's going to be probably an EXR or an HDR here. Put that in here, and there it is. Okay, there's the HDR file, okay? And so then I can go and take this file here, go into Daz, and go into Environment Options. Go here. This is the real world. Browse. Go to up here to HDR, new JPEG. No, we don't want the JPEG. We want the actual HDR. We go here. We take that. It's still in my memory here, and select that HDR. And now I have a 24K image. Now the draw dome it's going to take, that's probably maybe a few gigs to load that image. So yeah, it's going to be a couple gigs. It takes a while to load a 24. There it is. Okay, and now I can turn the draw dome off. The only thing that about this is that you're more likely to have to adjust things like the environment intensity and things like that, because the HDR files that are, okay, let's turn this on. The HDR files that you do find within Daz have a lot of render settings wrapped around them. And so, but I don't mind adjusting the environment intensity, maybe the tint a little bit, and like where they'll change the dome rotation for you. So I have to move the dome rotation. I change these things anyway during a scene. I almost always rotate okay, so we're now going to go into iRay, and we're going to get to see what 16K HDRI is going to look like in our scene. So that, I hope that, because I looked around for a long time trying to figure out a solution to the HDR problem, and I found that solution in the Daz forums. But then when they explained it and it said, oh, you have to convert all your HDRIs, HDRs and EXRs into JPEGs, and I thought, are you kidding me? So, but the thing is yes, and it does. And now we can rotate the dome, okay? And you can move this dome. Now, this isn't the most beautiful. I think I might have gotten this. Oh, that was, I might have gotten this dome. Now, the thing with this particular image, it looks whited out. So what you do is you go into here and you take your environment intensity. I forget what you want. Let's say 1.5. Is that make it whiter or less? I think that made it higher. So let's go to 0.5. Yeah, and see, this gives us a little more cloud here. Now we can turn on our ultra scene. It's going to cover the land for the most part. Okay, I thought I turned it on. Okay, there it is. So yes, it is. It's a way, at least you get to know that they're there. And that's the thing, is that it really bothered me, and this is where now I'm not sure why my renders. I think my render settings might be. I might be set at 10,000, or I might have my render settings at something, because it's like not really rendering further than a certain step. Okay, this is at 10,000. Let's bring this down to let's say 4,000. Okay, this is 16 by 9. And let's go to this here, maximum samples. Okay, let's take the render quality off for now. Optimization. I'm not sure why. Okay, it's just not it's not continuing to render. It's just rendering so far and stopping. So, and what would be probably nice is to take that HDRI and pull it up a little bit, so some of the background comes up above the plane here. Now, okay, let's go back into, this is, you just have to turn off the ultra scenery terrain a little bit and then work with other stuff for a while here. Let's see what we have. Okay, now we're back here. Let's turn off ultra scenery terrain a little bit. And now if I go into filament mode, filament might actually show me what my sky looks like. It takes a moment down at the bottom here, and I'm actually blocking it off, but in behind me you can see a little bit of the progress of the it's loading it's trying to load this gigantic HDR file. It's converting it into what's this called again? Yeah, it did convert it. So it converts these into filament mode. Then I can take this and go back into my environment options. And what would this be? X? Yeah, see, I can bring this sky up a little bit so that we have a little bit of that showing in behind here. And then we can rotate it and really see what's here. I don't like that because it's so whited out. Okay. I think we'll go like this. Okay. And then I'm going to take a look at my advanced options and make sure all of this is, so these are all corrected. They're both of these 3090s are set, allow CPU fallback. I don't use my CPU in here because while I'm rendering, sometimes it can slow my computer down so that I can't even just use Chrome and browse the web anymore. Which, so, yeah, I'm not sure why iRay is acting weird. So let's now go back to render settings and back to the editor. Filtering is on, Firefly render, bloom is off, and denoiser is off. I don't use the denoiser. That's off. Maybe I need to restart my computer because I did do the. I'm gonna bring this. Actually, let's find. Well, first we'll go back into. We'll turn the ultrascene back on, and we'll go into iRay again. Control 0 brings switches the mode back to iRay. Let's see what this looks like. This sky is just, I picked it just because it was a very, very large HDR